Good morning, students. I hope you all are in good health. In today's English language class, we are going to start a new chapter, that is Analysis of Simple Sentences. I hope you all have this Renan Martin book with you all. It is on page 157. It is the first chapter of book 2 composition part. So starting with the chapter, sentence is a set or a group of words which make complete sense. So a group of words which make complete sense is known as a sentence. A group of words which does not make a complete sense is not called a sentence. It may be called a phrase or a clause. So sentence is divided into two main parts, that is subject and predicate. The two main parts of a sentence are subject and predicate. Subject denotes the person or a thing about which something is said. So about whom we are talking about is called subject. The predicate is what is said about the person or thing denoted by a subject. Whatever we talk about the subject is called predicate. So, like we have the exercises given, the cackling of geese saved Rome. It is very easy. We've been studying subject and predicate past 2 to 3 years, and you've already known that the thing which we are talking about is called subject, and what we talk about the subject is called predicate. So, the cackling of geese saved Rome. Over here, the cackling of geese, the sound of the geese is the subject, and what did it do? It saved Rome. A sentence may have a verb. It is necessary for a sentence to have a verb. It can have a helping verb or a main verb also. So helping verb in the sense is, are, am, was, were. All these are helping verb. Other than that, the main verb are made, saw, saved, barking. All these are what? These are the main verb. Now in the next part we have, when the subject of a sentence consists of several words, there is always one word in it which is more important than the other word. This chief word is complete subject, is called the subject word or the simple subject. There may be many words, like over here we heard the cackling of geese, but the main subject is what? We are talking about the geese. So the main subject word or the prime subject word, the simple subject is geese over here. Next, for example, if we see, the little child then tired of play is sleeping. It is written like this. So over here, the child is the subject. The word child is the subject. It is the main subject or the simple subject that we can say. After that we have enlargement or attribute. Coming from simple subject, we come to enlargement or attribute. When in a complete subject, the subject word is qualified by an adjective or adjective equivalent called its enlargement or attribute. This means that when a subject comes along with some more words with it, that is called enlargement or its attributes. Okay, like new brooms. What is this new brooms? New brooms means that brooms are being described. Adjective is being given to brooms. So this new, the word new is the attribute which is given to the word broom. The subject is broom over here and new is the attribute. Same way, barking dogs. Barking dogs, the dogs are barking, the barking dogs are said over here. The subject over here is dogs and barking is the attribute, the describing word of the subject. Same way we have Hari's father. Hari's father is a possession which is being shown with a apostrophe S. So what we are doing is Hari's father over here is the subject, but the main subject or the simple subject is father, and Hari's is what is Hari's? Hari's is the attribute or the enlargement which is given to the subject. In the next part, we can know that in attribute can be an adjective, a participle, a noun, a possessive adjective or a noun in opposition. It can be anything. So in the following sentences, exercise 2 that we are seeing, the boy anxious to learn worked hard. So what you have to do is you have to pick out the complete subject and then separate the subject word from its attribute. So over here the complete subject is the boy. The boy anxious to learn. We are describing the boy. The boy was anxious to learn. We do not say the boy was anxious to learn, but we are just saying the boy anxious to learn. So this is the simple subject. Simple subject over here is the boy, and anxious to learn over here is the attribute which is being given with the subject, simple subject. Birds of a feather flock together. Birds of a feather flock together. With the simple subject over here is the birds, and of a feather is the enlargement or the attribute we can say. Similarly, in the next part we have just as subject word may be qualified by an adjective, adjective equivalent, the verb in the predicate may be qualified by an adverb or adverb equivalent. Like we have done for qualifying the subject, we used an adjective. Now we can use an adverb to qualify the verb. What is a verb? Verb over here is an action word. In order to qualify it, we need an adjective or an adverb. Adverb, what is an adverb? Adverb is a word which modifies or qualifies an adjective. So any word which is qualifying the adverb or a verb is called an adverb. So when the flames spread everywhere. So the word spread over here is the action word or the verb, and everywhere is the adverb which is being equivalent to the verb spread. So the next part is that he went home. Home over here is a noun. Home is a noun. So home will be the noun and went will be the verb. The adverbial adjective that is being used over here is the home. He rose to go. Over here the verb is rose, and to go is the adverbial qualification that is being extra in the verb. To qualify the verb, it is being used. So this is how we'll be doing the exercise 3. You have to point out the adverbial qualification in each of the following sentences and say whether it is an adverb, an adverbial accusative. Okay, now what is an adverbial accusative? Noun or an adjective used as an adverb is called adverbial accusative. Noun or an adjective used as an adverb. When we use an adverb as a noun or an adjective, the word adverb is being used in the place of a noun or an adjective, it is called adverbial accusative. Then we have the next one is gerundial infinitive. For that we have when the infinitive is used to qualify a noun, verb or an adjective, it is called gerundial infinitive. Then we have an absolute phrase. Absolute phrase is a phrase that modifies the entire main clause of the sentence. It will be modifying the entire main clause of the sentence, and there will be a particular phrase that is given, so that will be called absolute phrase. Examples we'll be doing right now. She spoke distinctly. She spoke distinctly. Over here the subject is she. Spoke over here is the verb, and distinctly is the adverb. The manner in which the person is speaking. The manner in which the girl, that is she, is speaking. She spoke distinctly. So distinctly over here is an adverb. Next one is he spoke in a distinct voice. He spoke in a distinct voice. Over here spoke is the verb, but in a distinct voice is a adverbial phrase. It is an adverbial phrase that is being said. The boy ran a mile. The boy ran a mile will be, the ran will be over here a verb, and a mile is adverbial accusative. A mile is an adverbial accusative just because mile is the distance which is being covered. It is a kind of noun which is being modified over here. So it is called adverbial accusative. Then we have for absolute phrase, come to number 10. The tide having turned, the ship set sail. The ship set sail. When did the ship set sail? Over here it is the main clause that is being dignified by a absolute phrase. An absolute phrase is being used. The tide having turned, this is the absolute phrase over here. Next we have when the verb is in the predicate. In the predicate is an intransitive verb. It can alone form as a predicate. So what is a transitive and what is an intransitive verb? First of all, a transitive verb is a verb which requires an object after it to make a sense to the sentence. Okay, the verb which require an object after them to complete their sense is called a transitive verb. On the other hand, verb which do not require object to complete their sense is intransitive verb. Okay, so dogs bark. Over here dogs bark. Dogs is the object over here, but it is before the verb. Just make it clear, object is over here also. Here the subject is also there, the object is also there, but it is before the verb. After the verb it is not there. If it is after the verb, it will become transitive. If it is not after the verb, it is intransitive. Dogs bark, black clouds are gathering. So whatever we have over here, we have verb at the last place. At the last place we have the verb, so it is intransitive because we don't have any other object after the verb. The boys have been reading. So reading over here is also a verb which is being placed at the last, and we don't have any other object after it, so it is intransitive in the sense. Next one is, sometimes the verb in the predicate is as an intransitive verb of incomplete predication. That is an intransitive verb which requires a noun or an adjective or a pronoun, etc. added to it to make the predicate complete. That is, the baby seems happy. Over here, happy is not any kind of object. So we cannot say that this sentence is transitive verb, or the verb over here used is a transitive verb. Just because we don't have anything else to complete the sense, we've made a word happy inserted into it. So over here the word happy is the adjective with which is being used. So if I simply say the baby seems, we won't be understanding because the complete sentence is not formed over here. I do not make complete sense. The intransitive verb seems requires some word or words to make the predicate complete. We need to complete the predicate in order to make it a complete sense. So that is the reason we've added the word happy to it. The complement of an intransitive verb serves to describe the subject, is therefore called subjective complement. Any word which is being used after an intransitive verb to make a complete sense to the sentence is called a subjective complement. Okay, so we are going to do this. Now examine the predicates in the following sentences. The sky grew dark. The sky grew dark. Grew, the word grew over here is a verb, and the word dark we are using is a subjective complement. The word subjective complement is, what is it? It makes the predicate a complete sentence when we are having intransitive verb in it. Venus is a planet. Over here the word is a verb, and planet over here is the subjective complement that we are showing. Similarly, we have the man seems worried. The word seems over here is the verb, and worried is the subjective complement. Same way, the complement can be an adjective, a noun or a pronoun, participle, adverb, infinitive, etc. So what is a noun? Noun is a naming word. Pronoun is a word which is used instead of a noun. Participle is the third form of the verb. Adverb is the word which modifies the verb, etc. Pick out the complement in each of the following sentences and say whether it is a noun, an adjective or a pronoun. So John became a soldier. Over here you have to pick out the complement. So what did John become? John became a soldier. A soldier is not an object over here, but it is a subjective complement. We are just complementing the subject because the sentence was not complete. Became over here is an intransitive verb, and a soldier over here is subjective complement which is in the form of a noun. A soldier is a noun. Roses smell sweet. The word smell over here is an intransitive verb, and the word sweet over here is, what is it? It is an adjective. Okay, because it is describing the smell. Okay. Now we are going to do the eighth part. Sometimes a verb in the predicate is a transitive verb. Okay, that is verb which requires an object to complete its sense. For example, if I say cats catch, the birds build nest. Over here, birds build, bird is a subject, build over here is the verb, and nest is the object which is being qualified for a transitive verb. You also have to see how subject word shows its attribute. The attribute which is being showed by the subject word. Okay, children. All good children pity the poor. So children over here are the subject, the simple subject that we can say, and all good over here is said to be the attribute. Then we have, in the following sentences, point out the complete object, then separate the object word from its attribute. The complete object over here you have to see. The object in the first sentence that we had seen is birds build nest. The object over here is nest. Next one is I know him. Him is the object over here. So the world knows nothing of its greatest men. So greatest men over here will be the object. Sometimes a verb in the predicate is a transitive verb that takes two objects. It will take one direct object also and it will take an indirect object also. Direct object, the object which we are talking about, and indirect object, the object which is related to the direct object. Okay, so now we are going to see how it is. Now examine the predicate in the following sentences. I promised him a present. So I is the subject, promised is the verb, and him is the indirect object because I am promising him. What did I promise him? I promise him a present. This direct object over here is a present and him is the indirect object. He teaches us geometry. So he teaches us geometry means us is the indirect object and geometry is the direct object because we are being taught geometry by him. So he is teaching us geometry. So us is the indirect object and geometry is the direct object. Father bought Minnie a doll. Over here Minnie is the indirect object and a doll over here is the direct object because father is bringing a doll, that is the direct object. He is bringing it for whom? He is bringing it for Minnie. So that is indirect object. Some transitive verbs require complement in addition to the object. So some of the transitive verbs, what do they require? They require complement in addition to the object. The boys made Rama captain. So what did the boys made Rama? What did he made Rama? He made Rama a captain. So this will become a complement in addition to the object. It is the complement for the object. So let's examine the predicates in the following sentences. The jury found him guilty. So over here the jury is the subject, found is the verb, him is the object and guilty is the complement. What did we find him? We found him. We found him. The jury found him. That can be also a sentence, but we are complementing it with the word guilty. So over here the word guilty is a complement. His parents named him Hari. So the word named is verb, him is the object, and what is his name that is being given? That is Hari. That is a complement. So we could have also said his parents named him. We couldn't have said Hari, but we are saying Hari. So over here if we are using the word Hari, it is a complement for the object. I know it will be a little difficult for you to understand, but try to understand it step by step. If you're going to do the exercises, it will be clear very properly. So let's do the next one. He kept us waiting. So kept over here is the verb, us is the object, and waiting over here is the complement which is being used for the word us. Then we have the next part, that is, let us now review the different forms of predicate. So now let us review what kinds of predicate we have. When the verb is intransitive, the predicate may consist of verb alone. So when the verb is intransitive, the predicate may consist of the verb alone. When the verb is intransitive, like dogs bark. Over here the word bark, after it we don't have any kind of object, so it can be alone also. So this is what is being said, that this predicate can be alone also. The second part is when the verb is intransitive verb of incomplete predication, the predicate may consist of verb and its complement. So when it is incomplete, we had completed it by the seventh one, like the subjective complement was being used. The sky grew dark. Dark over here is not the object, but it is a subjective complement that is being used for an intransitive verb. When the verb is transitive verb, the predicate may consist of verb and its objects. It is already mentioned over here that it can contain object. We have already learned that in a transitive verb, we have an object after the verb. So this is what is being said, that the object will be lying over there. When the verb is transitive verb, it may be having two objects also, like we did direct object and indirect object also. I promised him a present. Over here, promised is the verb, him is the indirect object, and direct object is a present. When the verb is transitive verb of incomplete predication, the predicate may consist of verb, its object, and a complement. So now when we are complementing the object, like we did, the jury found him guilty. So the jury over here was the subject, found is the verb, him is the object, and what did he find him? He found him guilty. So that was a complement being used. Then next we have to analyze the following sentences. Exercise 7, that is, a nod from a lord is breakfast for a fool. So over here, the subject is a nod is a subject. The attributes which are along with it is a and words that is from a lord. The attributes are a and from a lord. Is over here is the verb, that is a helping verb being inserted in the sentence. Breakfast for a fool is the complement which is being used to define or dignify the verb and the subject. So this is how we are going to do the sentences. The solutions to these sentences, the exercises will be sent to you. Just go through it, try to read it once and twice. Analysis of simple sentence is not that easy, but if you understand it, it will become very easy for you to do the exercises. So I want you students to learn. You just have to revise it. You have to read it 2 to 3 times. Try to understand it. If you don't understand something, try to watch the video again and again. But you have to complete it. So the solutions to exercise 1 to 7 will be sent to you. And you just have to do it. That's it. You have to complete the work in your English language notebook. Complete the work and be ready for the next chapter in the next class. Thank you so much, students.